2 section of our thundercloud and rain animation. And to preview where we're going to head with this, we started out with the rain yesterday, and now what we're going to add in is the cloud lighting up and kind of the thunderbolt coming out of it. So to pick up where we left off, we will go back to our rain animation and see what we have here is just the rainfall. And you may or may not want to continue to adjust the size of your raindrops. Remember, all you have to do is kind of click on one of your movie sections and keep clicking in and choose any one of the raindrops and just keep going inside of that until you get to the actual raindrop graphic. Okay, and so if I make any changes to this actual graphic here, those will be reflected in all of your raindrops. So I think that I've got these adjusted to about the size that I want them, and what we're going to do now is we are going to add in, sorry, zoomed into a little to the side, is we're going to add in a new layer, and this is going to contain the clouds. Okay, so what we want to start with is just our oval or ellipse tool and draw an oval. Delete the outlines. We will not want outlines on these ovals. What I can do is if I want to just keep using this oval like we do with the raindrops, we can Alt and click and drag, and then you can keep using that same oval shape again. So I can take these two and I can kind of continue a cloud shape over here. Again, I can take this, draw a new one there, and maybe copy this one more time and make another there. And so it goes a little off my stage, but that is okay. I'll do a quick look to get a preview idea. I may stretch some of these to make a little more variety in the shape so that they're not all exactly kind of the same size or shape. I might just take this and maybe stretch it out just a little bit more. Move it up, I think, a bit. Now let's see what we got when we preview. Okay, so this looks pretty good. You can keep playing with kind of the placement of the clouds if you want, but what we want to do then is take this cloud image and we will convert it into a graphic. So we'll press F8. We'll call this the clouds, and that is good for now. So now what I'd like to do is to start getting into drawing the actual lightning. Okay, so we will add another layer, this one in between the clouds and the rain, and this is going to be the lightning. So on this layer, what we're going to do is we're going to use our pen tool, and we'll zoom in just a tad here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the rain cloud onto outline mode, and when we look at this kind of square frame here, that is where you click to see a layer, just an outline. So that's kind of useful because then I can see through it and I can see really below it, and I see where my lightning bolt's going to start and kind of come from. So we're going to start by just drawing the entire lightning bolt, really. So we want it to start kind of off the stage, then come back in, and then you want your lightning bolt to have several branches, if you will, and kind of come off at a side angle and be very kind of geometric. So we're just going really to a few points. Oops, I think I connected back to a different point there, and just kind of go along, making kind of like a jagged shape here, and maybe one more kind of like spike, and I will go back and edit this so that it looks much more Thunderbolt-like, but that works for a start. And so what I'll take is I'll take this layer and I'll make sure that it's filled. I'll fill it with a white. I'll take my paint bucket, fill that in white, and delete the outline. Actually, we don't want that outline in there. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just kind of take my selection arrow and I'm just going to kind of pull on the corners to make these parts a little thinner. They're much too blocky for a lightning bolt type shape. So I'm going to kind of take these, like I was saying, I'm just going to make the different areas of this lightning bolt thinner. So, taking care of those big chunky block spaces, I might move um, some of these points just a little bit so that they go a little more downwards and point a little further out. You might move this in just a little bit. Okay, so that's a pretty decent looking lightning bolt there. Might just change this point just a tiny bit. Maybe, oops, that started to curve. Not quite what I wanted. Alright, so that looks like a pretty good lightning bolt. Might take this corner and just do that tiny bit. Now, there we go. Pretty happy with that lightning bolt. So if I turn my clouds back on from the outline mode, I should see them right here with the white lightning bolt coming out of it. Okay, what we're going to do to actually animate the lightning bolt itself is we're going to animate it with a mask. Okay, so we'll create one more layer. Last one we're going to do, we'll call it mask, and then we will right click and turn it into a mask layer. We'll want to unlock it in order to work on it, and what we want to do essentially is on this first keyframe of your mask layer, we want to draw a rectangle. Again, what I'm going to do before I start this is I'm going to turn the clouds back into outline mode so I can see behind them and see what I have here. I'm going to draw my mask in kind of a neon green color. It's kind of nice to work in a bright, bold color. That way you can really see, where you're going with your mask shape. I'm going to delete these outlines. I'm holding Shift and clicking on each of the edges and deleting the outlines from this shape. Okay, so on the mask layer, you start on keyframe 1 with just a rectangle. We'll go ahead and create another new keyframe on the second frame, and what we're going to do is just take your selection arrow tool and we're just going to stretch this mask out so that it covers the entire lightning bolt. So right now what it should do is on this first frame we will make it come down a little bit out of the clouds, so you start to see a little bit of the lightning bolt. Is what will happen is that part will be revealed now that the mask goes over it. Remember, masks reveal and do not conceal, right? So we're going to put another F6 in here, click off to the side to unselect that rectangle mask shape, and now I will go down and maybe that part will come out on the next keyframe. Maybe I'll move this point up just a little bit. And then on the next keyframe, I'll give it another F6 and I'll click off to the side to unselect it and then take and pull the corner of this mask a little bit further and maybe pull this down a little bit further so there's a little bit more of the lightning bolt being showed. What I did notice there was that when I pulled that, it unmasked part of my lightning bolt. So I need to make sure that I'm staying over the entire thing. I'll press F6 again, and now this will kind of be the last reveal of this part of the lightning bolt. So what should happen is your entire lightning bolt should then be covered with this mask area. So when you kind of scrub through, you should see that growing at the same pace, and that's what will happen to your lightning bolt as it will be revealed. So we'll put the clouds back on. Let's check out what this looks like. And so we've got the lightning bolt being revealed, shooting out of the clouds, right? So looking good so far. Last thing we're really going to do is adjust some of the tinting here with the clouds and the sky. To kind of make it seem like the lightning bolt is really realistic, we want it to really lighten up the clouds when the bolt comes out. So what we're going to do is skip a couple frames, and what we're going to do, I'd say start on the third frame. We'll give another couple of keyframes to our clouds. So the third, fourth, fifth, and maybe sixth keyframe. Okay, so we're going to make each one of these a different tint. So right now, first we want to take our cloud graphic. So just click on it once. We'll go down to our properties bar and choose tint. Okay, and what we want to start with is our cloud being tinted black. And so you select the black from the tint coloring, and we want it to be tinted black, maybe let's say 90%, 85%. So it's sort of like black, but starting to turn gray. Okay, because we want it to be a dark cloud when there's no lightning. And then in this next one, we'll click on this graphic again. We'll go down to tint, and now we want to change this 85. We want to make it a little lighter because we can start to see some of the lightning. So let's say 65 will make this tinted. Next keyframe then, we'll click on it again. Remember we left off at 65. So now maybe we'll go to about 45. Okay, and then on the next keyframe we can see about the whole lightning bolt here. So what should happen with the cloud is it should really be the brightest that we want it to be. So this 45 should go to like 10 maybe. You know, it's not quite pure white. You know, the cloud should still be kind of gray. You know, clouds have that grayish type color, so we'll leave it about that color for now, and let's preview what we have. So now you can see kind of the cloud lighting up with the lightning bolt, and then going dark when the lightning bolt is not there. So going back into this and just kind of making a couple final touches is after this bolt's mask is fully revealed, okay, we have to add a couple other keyframes. I want to take this first keyframe here where the mask is, and I want to copy it. I'm going to copy that frame, and I'm going to paste it right to the end of this sequence, so that the mask, if I lock it, it will actually play as it is. We'll go back to being on, so that the lightning bolt will disappear. Okay, and then after this keyframe here, where the lightning bolt disappears again, your cloud should really go back to being darkly tinted again. So we'll go ahead and just click on this cloud again and go to tint, and again we want to put this back up to you know, 85–90%. However, we had it on the first one. We could copy and paste this again. 85%, I was right. So so again, this should match the first. We'll also just take and extend this animation a little bit. If we click on the 20th frame and then hold shift and click on that bottom frame, and then we'll press F5 to just extend this animation a little bit, make it a little longer, so that there's a little bit of a pause after that first lightning bolt comes down, and it's not such a quick animation. So let's see how this works now. Alright, so this is looking pretty good. Goes from dark to light, the lightning bolt comes down, crack, and then we have the rain going on in the background. The only thing I really want to do is, you know, the blue of the sky, the background, is a little bit light for really what we're looking at here. If we're looking at dark clouds like that, it's a little light, so I'm going to take one of these darker, deep darker blue tones. Maybe this one looks pretty good. And I think that this just creates a little bit more realistic of a scene. I might even go just a tad even darker. If I could take maybe this deep dark navy blue type tone. Yeah, I think that's really more of what I was looking for. Okay, so now we've got kind of the cloud, lightning bolt, and the rain all working together. And I hope that you have luck and success in creating your own thundercloud animation.